Do you know what the Military Industrial Commission of the Russian Federation is? The chances are you don't. Not too many Russians know what it is. It is a permanent body of the government formed for the purpose of organizing state policy in the field of the military industrial complex, military technical support of the country's defense, state security, and law enforcement. Basically, that is the body of government that oversees everything security in Russian Federation, including the army. It hasn't played a significant role in state management until recently. But when and if a war is announced in Russian Federation, this commission becomes the top dog of all Russia's government bodies. Big deal. And guess what happened a few minutes ago? Vladimir Putin appointed Dmitri Anatolievich Medvedev, former Russian president, as the deputy head of this military industrial commission. Gave him lots of rights, and basically Medvedev can lead the meetings of the commission in the absence of Vladimir Putin, to replace Vladimir Putin. Big deal. On top of that, Dmitry Medvedev is currently deputy head of Russia's Security Council. That's basically body of the government responsible for all power block government agencies. I'm telling you just so you understand who Dmitry Medvedev currently in the Russian state is. He's a big deal. He's a big shot. He's a very powerful guy. He's still in business, despite that he was the president of Russian Federation. Potentially, he has experience, and potentially he's a competitor to Vladimir Putin, but he's still in the business, in the government business. Vladimir Putin, he still believes him, still has faith in him. After Putin returned to the presidency, Dmitry Medvedev was made the prime minister, and he led the Russian government for almost 8 years. Dmitry Medvedev is the big deal, big shot, and his words are to be taken seriously. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where I give you daily updates on Russian news, what is currently happening in Russia, developments, give you my takes, my opinions on things. Usual Russia described by the unusual Russian. That is me. Before I start the stream, before I start my message, I would like to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you all. Have a great holidays. The holidays are not over yet. Have a fantastic time. I would like to jump right into the message now. And I'm going to be quoting. I'm going to be quoting quite a bit. I'm going to be quoting, as you understood, I'm going to be quoting Dmitry Medvedev. Because the guy is actually, on the contrary to many Russian public officials, he's very vocal and he's very public. He uses his Telegram channel quite a lot, Telegram account, and he sends messages through Telegram. Despite the fact that Russian government outlawed Telegram for years, it was illegal. It was a crime for a Russian person to have Telegram channel. But then a couple of years ago, they reversed that law, and all Russian officials, the government officials, started using Telegram. Hypocrisy? Yes, but hey, this is Russia. Modern day Russia. Anyway, According to Dmitri Medvedev, who just made public his own views of the results of what has happened in 2022 in Russia and in the world, and what is important. He gave us 6 most important results. According to him, a new era is coming, which is bringing drastic changes to the world in everything, primarily in the balance of power. Well, I agree with him. Things are changing. Let's jump into the results. I agree with him. I will quote what he said about the results. The reason I am making the results the entire stream is I find them fascinating, and I find them a window through that we can look inside of the head of one of the top Russian guys, and basically we can look into the head of Vladimir Putin, because there's no way Medvedev would think otherwise as Vladimir Putin, They think somewhere close to one another, They discuss things, they meet regularly, and so forth. So without further ado, there are a few results, and the result number 1 is the special operation in Ukraine was forced upon Russia. I'm going to quote, and then I'm going to explain my takes a little bit. So Dmitry Medvedev noted today that the special military operation in Ukraine was forced upon Russia, since the issue of Russia's security was on the agenda. President Vladimir Putin made a difficult decision when announcing its start in February 2022. I quote Dmitry Medvedev: "The decision to launch the special military operation in February 2022 was difficult, forced step under the pressure of circumstances. It was not only about the protection of the fraternal republics of Donbass, but also about the security and sovereignty of Russia itself." This is a pretty powerful statement, The deputy chairman of the Security Council stressed that Moscow will do everything possible to achieve the goals of the special operation. He also considered pointless negotiations with the current leadership of Ukraine, adding that Russia is not fighting with the Ukrainian people, but with politicians who came to power as a result of coup d'etat. In early December, Medvedev said that the Russian armed forces continue to consistently achieve the goals set for them by President Vladimir Putin. Now, let's talk about that. Russia was forced to attack Ukraine. Russia was forced to start firing rockets into Ukraine. Russia was forced to start killing Ukrainians. That's one of the questions I have not been able to answer myself. I've heard that before. Vladimir Putin said it himself on the 24th of February. He said, "I made the decision, but I was forced." Forced by what? Forced by who? Blah, blah, blah. They have not one person, they have not given us true facts. We were forced because of this, and this. No, they don't say that. They just say that Russia was forced. Period. Sometimes they think we're stupid. The decision to launch special military operation February 22 was a difficult, forced step under the pressure of circumstances. Again, I'm quoting Dmitry Medvedev. What were the circumstances? Why don't you just tell us the circumstances? Describe the circumstances. I want to hear circumstance number 1, circumstance number 2, and circumstance number 3. And then I will be able to put 2 and 2 together and make a decision, my own decision, whether it was forced or not. Okay, but they just tell us it was forced, and that is the truth. Plain and simple. Whew, makes me angry. It was only about the protection of the fraternal republics of Donbass. What fraternal republics of Donbass? Not only about the protection of the fraternal republics of Donbass, but also about the security and sovereignty of Russia itself. Who was threatening Russia in February 2022? Again, they didn't even attempt to tell us once. They definitely think we're stupid. The deputy chairman of the Security Council stressed that Moscow will do everything possible to achieve the goals of the special operation. Well, there's a problem here. First of all, it's scary because what is everything? Nuclear strike? Is it also everything? And second is to achieve the goals of special operation. So far, it's been a disaster. But they plan on doing everything to achieve the goals. First of all, they didn't tell us the goals. They keep changing the goals. But this is a clear message saying, hey, we will do anything to achieve the goals, whatever it takes. How many lives it takes, we don't care. We will do everything. It takes to destroy Russian economy, to make it completely a war economy, we don't care. We'll do everything. That is pretty scary. He also considered pointless negotiations with the current leadership of Ukraine. Again, I don't know what to say. Pointless. How is Russia going to end this thing if it's not going to negotiate? It wants to completely destroy Ukraine so it surrenders, or otherwise. If you don't negotiate, that's the only two exits, ways out. And that's pretty scary. He added that Russia is not fighting with the Ukrainian people. This is grand. This is grand. But with politicians who came to power as a result of coup d'etat. Well, one can somewhat argue that what happened in February 2014 could be described as coup d'etat. But there was no coup d'etat, definitely, with Zelensky. It's absolutely clear that there were elections and majority of Ukrainians elected him as the president. You know, Russian government may like or dislike Zelensky. They might think he is a drug addict. They've said it many times before. They might think he's a clown. They might think he's an actor, not a politician. They might think anything they want to. But you know what? It's none of Russia's business. It's just between the Zelensky and Ukrainian people, the voters. They voted. They casted their votes, you know. They said, we want Zelensky to be the president. And honestly, I think they did not make a mistake, okay? But somehow Russian government doesn't give Ukrainian people the right to elect a president. Even, you know, people can make mistake. People can make right choice. It doesn't matter. It's people's choice, okay? It's their choice. Who can tell Russians how to vote or how not to vote? Who to elect? Who can tell Americans the same, you know? But who can tell the Ukrainians? It's their business. And then another thing is, I quote, Russia is not fighting with the Ukrainian people. I heard otherwise. Perhaps Mr. Medvedev is not informed well enough, but there has been numerous interviews by top Russian politicians. They were saying, we are striking down Ukraine, peaceful infrastructure, you know, substations, power lines. So people in Ukraine freeze. If it's not fighting Ukrainian people, then what is fighting the Ukrainian people? So that's the result number one, according to Dmitri Medvedev. The special operation in Ukraine was forced upon Russia. Moving on, result number two. The second result is that Russia and the West are divided more than united. No shit, genius. According to the deputy chairman of the Security Council, 2022 demonstrated that there is no one to negotiate with the West now. There is nothing and there is no need. The current situation dispelled the remaining illusions. Wow. There is no one to negotiate with the West now. I am Russian. I am here to negotiate with the West. There is nothing and there is no need. Who gave Medvedev this right to decide for Russian people if there is nothing and there is no need? Who does he think he is? Well, he thinks he's the one to decide. I quote, "Now it is finally clear that in the relations of independent and sovereign states with the Anglo-Saxon world in the current configuration, there can be no question of trust, hope for the decency of partners, their loyalty to the world, and even their own beautifully stated principles." He added that the actions of Western leaders strike with cynicism. In addition, there's a crisis of confidence in political institutions as countries impose sanctions and confiscate assets without trial, encroaching on the rule of international law. According to the politician, relations with the West are impossible in the coming years and decades, but Russia intends to interact with the rest of the world, open to cooperation. Well, I see this result. I don't know. I'm trying to understand what he said, and to any normal, sane person, this kind of looks and sounds strange, okay? Now it's finally clear that the relation of independent and sovereign states with the Anglo-Saxon world in the current configuration, there can be no question of trust, hope for the decency of partners, their loyalty to the world, and even their own beautiful stated principles. First of all, who is these independent and sovereign states that are facing Anglo-Saxon world? Independent and sovereign states. Independent sovereign states. China, North Korea, Venezuela. Venezuela is out. Made a deal with the USA, by the way, so it's out of Russia's control. Who are the states? Brasilia, Argentina, African countries. I don't really understand. Again, you see, this a pretty strange tactics. He doesn't say which countries, independent and sovereign states. List them, please. Iran, China. This is who you mean with the Anglo-Saxon world. As far as I understand, everyone in the world is getting along just fine. Anglo-Saxon world and Eastern world, Muslim world, it doesn't matter. It's just, there are no worlds, there are countries, and they're getting along just fine. There's one country that is not getting along with everyone right now, with anyone, that is Russia. He says there's a crisis of confidence in political institutions in the Western countries. I see no crisis, but perhaps, what do I know? I sit far away. Perhaps there are crises in the UK, in Australia, in America, in France, in Italy, in Norway, Sweden, the heart of the Anglo-Saxon world. But you know what? What does Russia have to do anything with looking at the Anglo-Saxon world countries and trying to decide for them, if there's a crisis or not? Russia should look into itself, not outwards, but inwards, okay? Let's take care of our own problems first, and let's not interfere into other countries. Who cares if they're having crises? It's their business, it's their problem, it's the responsibility of their people, of the taxpayers and the voters. Who are we to say anything about the crises in those countries? Mr. Medvedev, again, who do you think you are? According to the politician, relations with the West are impossible in the coming years, indicates no shit genius. Russia intends to interact with the rest of the world, open to cooperation. Please, list me the countries that are open to negotiate with Russia. Yeah, give the names. Don't give me this general BS. Give me the names who Russia intends to interact with. China, North Korea, Iran, I don't know who. Result number 3. The epidemic of Russophobia requires treatment. That's a very powerful statement, by the way. Medvedev noted that the epidemic of Russophobia requires treatment with strong means, since Western countries are trying to ban not only contacts with Russia, but also Russian culture, which has become a world classic. I quote Mr. Medvedev, "It is impossible to trample Russia, and with it, the Russian world, split it or subordinate it to someone else's will." The deputy chairman of the Security Council said that the enemies do not hide their intentions to divide and destroy our country, but the state rebuffs any attempts to humiliate the entire people for the sake of selfish interests, rewrite history, or limit development. Medvedev also stressed that the main tasks of Russian authorities is, now that's important, to preserve the country and people, including those who have become Russian citizens again. Otherwise, the deputy chairman of the Security Council predicated an inevitable, unviable future. They won't just wipe their feet on us, they will tear us apart. Dmitri Medvedev probably should get out of Russia more often. If he did, he would not find much Russophobia around the world. I know, I've been around. You can find lots of talks about Russophobia inside Russia, but once you get outside Russia, you kind of don't see it materialize, okay? Don't see it happening. There is definitely anger at the Russians right now and the Russian culture and so forth, but that anger is just strictly due to the actions of Russia against Ukraine. If there were no actions, there would be no anger, plain and simple. It's impossible to trample Russia, and with it, the Russian world. Well, first of all, what is the Russian world? Russian world is Russia. Is Kazakhstan Russian world? Is Uzbekistan Russian world? Well, guess what? They don't like Russia in Kazakhstan. They don't like Russia in Uzbekistan, although people here speak Russian. And many speak as their first language. Are they Russian world? No, they're not. Don't ever tell Uzbek people that they're part of Russian world. You might not like what they're gonna tell you back. Same thing about Kazakhstan. Same thing about Azerbaijan, Armenia. Same thing about Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, you know. Who is the Russian world? So talk about Russia when you say the Russian world, okay? It's impossible to trample Russia. Who is trying to trample Russia? Again, you telling us general words without specifics. Tell us who exactly. Give us the list of the names of countries or people who are trying to trample Russia. Oh, you don't do that. The enemies do not hide their intentions to divide and destroy the country. Again, give us the names of the enemies. I want to see the enemies. Do you consider the United States the enemies? Well, let me remind you how you personally went to the United States when you were acting as the Russian president. You went to the Silicon Valley companies. You met Steve Jobs, who presented you a new iPhone. Russian TV was all over that. And you know what? Everything was absolutely fantastic. Back then, they were not enemies. All of a sudden, their enemies like that. What, were you blind then? Were you crazy then? Not ill, not sick, something, or not well? Because back then, as 2010, 2011, they weren't enemies. They were good friends, and now all of a sudden they're enemies, okay? Perhaps something changed not with them, but with you, here, inside Russia, huh? What do you say? What do you say? Moving on. Result number 4 of 2022. I laughed so hard when I read that. Actually, this result, I decided to make a stream because of just this thing. You've got to hear this. The West has put itself into a cage. It's still funny. Gotta pour some tea before I start reading this. Oi. The politician expressed the opinion that the West has driven itself into a cage and drew attention to the changes that have taken place in Western countries' policy. If earlier states tried to isolate unwanted countries, now they themselves are turning into the besieged fortress. The USA, Canada, the UK, France, Italy, all European countries, Australia are turning into besieged fortress. Who is besieging them? I quote Mr. Medvedev, "The West imprisons itself in a cage, while the rest of the world lives peacefully in the wild." That's where it's going. Let them live in the reservation. I think he means the Indians, Native Americans in the United States. This guy is funny. I think he did this result just on purpose to make us laugh, According to Medvedev, the rivalry between the West and the rest of the world will increase. In addition, contradictions between the allies will intensify, which will lead to a change of ways. The politician previously said that Russia's enemies are in Europe, North America, Japan, and Australia. Well, thanks for the names. Therefore, Moscow will increase production of the most powerful weapons of destruction, including those based on new principles. No, that's scary. So, you, my friends, live in the West, mostly, in Japan, in North America, in Europe, in Australia, in New Zealand, South Africa, and you are all imprisoned in a cage now. And the world doesn't want to talk to you. The world refuses. It's surrounded you, and you fortified yourself. This is this is funny. This is just so funny. What in reality is Russia has been isolated, and you know how the politicians of Russia, they were bragging, "Oh, Russia's gonna be fine on its own. We don't need them." McDonald's and Western companies, Apple and General Electric and Siemens leaving, get the hell out of Russia. That's what they're saying, literally. Get the hell out of Russia. We're going to be fine. We should have done it a long time ago. We should have depended on ourselves. We should have created our own economy, independent economy, and so forth. And now they're kind of changing their ways. They're saying, well, Russia part of the world. Okay. Agreed. Well, China is turning around against Russia. Chinese banks don't work with Russians anymore. So just to let you know, and the tide is turning. The only country that speaks to Russia is Iran, North Korea, India, because India is just abusing Russia economically right now, buying oil at the price that is cheaper than extraction point. And that's pretty much it. Okay, Russia is the one who is in the cage. Well, the Russians are in the cage, and then Russia is basically isolated. But it isolated itself, and it did not hide the isolation. Back in February, March, April, June, July, they were openly saying, we want to be isolated because we have our own way, And now, all of a sudden, it's the West that's in the cage. Ooh, wow. What can I say? What really scared me here is he mentioned something that Moscow will increase the production of most powerful weapons of destruction, including those based on the new principles. You see, two and two together, they just don't, they can't be put. On one side, the entire world isolated the West in the cage. Who needs the weapons then? That's tiny West against the entire world, right? Not a big deal. But no. Russia is increasing production most powerful weapons, including those based on the new principles. It means Russia is afraid of something. That's why it needs such weapons, okay? Again, the guy is a big shot. He's the deputy chief of Security Council, deputy chief of this Industrial Military Commission. Big shot. He knows what he's talking about. I hope. I hope he does. Moving on, result number 5. There will be no nuclear apocalypse. Yet. I quote. The deputy head of Security Council believes that there will be no apocalypse yet. Yet. Freaking yet. Since Moscow is guided by the nuclear doctrine, and this deters opponents. Okay, opponents get scared because of the doctrine, because of the Russian nuclear capabilities. In addition, Russia will do everything to prevent Third World War. Thank you, Russia. Thank you so much. Medvedev added that at the present, new agreements of disarmament are unrealistic or unnecessary. Security guarantees are required for the Russian side. I think that we have so much weapon in the world right now that any agreement on disarmament of any kind is not only realistic, but very necessary. But unfortunately, one of the heads, one of the top 5 people in Russia doesn't think so. Security guarantees required for the Russian side. What security guarantees? That you, Dmitri Medvedev, will not be touched? You will not be put in trial? What guarantees? You tell us. We want to know. Please, give us what kind of guarantees you desire. I quote Dmitri Medvedev. The sooner the guarantees of maximum security that suit our country are received, the sooner the situation will normalize. If we don't get them, the tension will persist indefinitely. Well, I have news for you, Dmitri Medvedev. Nothing is indefinitely in this world. Nothing. Everything is terminal. There's always taxes and death. Okay? None of people who are living right now will be living forever. So you're making one huge mistake there, saying that the tensions will persist indefinitely. You know what? We will be replaced by our children. And you know what? There's a big question if they would like to live in the future in the tensions. I don't think so. I think you are the ones in charge right now who love the tensions, who thrive over the tensions. Earlier, the deputy chairman of the Security Council wondered whether a hybrid war de facto declared by NATO countries could be considered the alliance entry into the war against Russia. So, de facto declared by NATO countries. So the NATO countries declared war to Russia, upon Russia. So can this be considered the alliance? What alliance? Alliance between Russia and Belarus, 2 countries, so great alliance, you know. Entry into the war against Russia. Oh, alliance meaning NATO alliance, all right. Can it be considered, well, forgive me if I'm wrong, but what I remember is that Russia is the country who pressed the button. Vladimir Putin pressed the button. He made the decision, and he admitted publicly on the 24th of February. I still have the recording. I recorded it. I wrote down his words in case they disappear from internet. So it's all written down. He said, I made the decision. I pressed the button. I started attacking Ukraine. That's kind of a special military operation. That's how they call war in Russia. That's they admitted themselves that they started it, okay? Now they're saying that the war was declared by NATO countries upon Russia. I'm really trying to, like, I don't know what to tell you. They say one thing and then they bluntly say another thing. And I guess lots of people are buying it. That's pretty scary. Moving on, result number 6. Russia is living, not trying to survive. Wow, that's a powerful statement. Medvedev stressed that Russia lives, not trying to survive. Not tries to survive. Or I think it's rather correctly to say Russia is living, not trying to survive. In 2022, according to him, tremendous changes have taken place not only in the economy, but also in the minds of citizens, which allowed them to unite and respond to external threat. This is just great. I mean, I can discuss this for hours. Tremendous changes have taken place. Yes, they have. Tremendous changes. Just incredible events happened. Russia shot itself in one foot, into another foot, in one hand, into another hand. Russia shot itself in the chest, and it's laying down bleeding. Bleeding right now, bleeding out. Yes, I agree with Medvedev. Changes have taken place. Not only in the economy, but also in the minds of citizens. And I agree with him here once more. The changes are in the economy, and Vladimir Putin, Dmitri Medvedev himself, and his colleagues, their friends, their buddies, who's running Russia, they have created these changes in Russian economy, and they also have created changes in the minds of citizens. I can't forget letters Z that were all around me in Rostov in the summertime. This is, to me, it's like the most vocal change that happened inside of Russians' heads. Letter Z, no more, no less. Some letter V. They placed it on their cars, in the houses, on the flags, the governments put them up on buildings and stuff like that. Huge changes in the minds of citizens, which allowed them to unite and respond to external threat. I'm not sure about that. What external threat? These changes allowed Russians to unite. Are you freaking out of your mind? That has created the biggest chasm Russian society has ever seen. That might actually kill the Russian society, as we know that. Over 2 million people have left because they don't want to face these changes that also have taken places in the minds of citizens. And you telling this has united us. This has been the greatest divide ever that we've seen in 100 years since the Bolshevik Revolution. What are you smoking, my friend? I quote Dmitri Medvedev. We will do our best to make life in a large Russian family normal and prosperous. I'm telling you, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Prosperous? Russian economy is landsliding. People losing jobs. People living standard is not in decline. It's down there somewhere. And he's saying that, we'll make life in large Russian family prosperous. Bring it back to the level of February 2022. What are you freaking talking about? I keep on quoting. We will give millions of people the opportunity to gain confidence in the future. You have destroyed the confidence. Over 2 million people have left because of just that. We don't have confidence in the future anymore. We don't want to go to war. We don't want to kill Ukrainians. We don't want to freaking support this huge military-industrial complex. Is this confidence in the future? We will always stand for the protection of the people's rights and freedoms. What about these new laws that have just taking our freedoms away. What are you talking about? Language and culture, faith and hopes. Faith and hopes. This guy is just fantastic, He's looking at something that is black, and he's saying, "Oh, this is white. This is white. Look at this. This is white." Fantastic. Dmitri Medvedev added that the cohesion of Russian society is also seen by opponents who continue to wage a hybrid war, trying to pressure and intimidate. The politician added that the cohesion of Russian society is also seen by the opponents who continue to wage a hybrid war. No comments here. I mean, what else can I say besides to what I've said already? Medvedev congratulated the citizens on the upcoming New Year and concluded that Russia will win. These were the results from one of Russia's top politicians. I would say he is in top 5 by power. He's one of the closest allies. I'm not sure if they're friends, but definitely ally of Vladimir Putin. This recent decision, a few minutes ago, he made him the deputy chief of this military-industrial commission. It shows that Vladimir Putin trusts Dmitri Medvedev. And Dmitri Medvedev is in the how. He knows what's going on. No, not he's in the no, not in the how. He knows what's going on basically in Russia. And then he's saying that. He's giving us these results. I see that he is either grossly misinformed, which I have a hard time believing in, or he just let one of his assistants come up with these results and publish in the Telegram, saying, "Hey, I don't care. I have better things to do. I'll go drinking or having fun with the family or whatever. You do it." And then he didn't check. Or the third possibility is he really meant it. Then I'm really not well about this because this is scary. This, my friends, has been my message for today. Thank you very much for giving me a chance, listening, watching again. Thank you so very much. Before I turn on the comments, I apologize, it's been a bit longer message. Before I turn on the comments, I would like to ask you 2 things. Please help me spread my message by making reposts in your social media accounts, and sign up for my Telegram channel called Inside Konstantin's Russia, where I give you some extra material and updates and announcements for upcoming streams. The description is below. The link is in the description below the video, the stream. Thank you so very much. Comments are on, as usual. If you're not seeing them, please reload your page. They should be seen now. Hey, one question before I start. I've been hearing this clicking noise in my monitors. Is everything okay with the sound on your end? Just clicked again. Sound is good. Okay. Thank you for coming, my wonderful mods. Lorna, Mommy, Bob, Harry, Amir, Blackhead. Thank you so very much. The usual suspects, the sponsors, the patrons, regular subscribers. Someone's calling me, unfortunately, and that's why it freezes. There you go. I'm back. Unfortunately, I just had a telephone call. People always call me 1 in the morning when I stream, okay? Perfect time to call me. 1 in the morning. Thank you so much. My friends, some members of my family, they know that I stream. And they're like, oh, you're streaming? Well, I'm sorry, I forgot, 1 in the morning. Just let's chat. Nice. Anyway. Thank you for coming. Without further ado, I'll jump into the questions. Please put them in caps and with Inside Russia after @ so they appear in a large orange box. Thank you, thank you, thank you. See a couple super chats, 2 minutes to midnight. Money from Mike Age. Yeah. You know what? I really enjoy that you understood my sarcasm and you understood how crazy that guy is. I'm off to the beach to be under siege from the sun. Great analysis of the speech, Mr. K. Thank you. This is crazy, okay? When I heard about the cage, I was thinking, what the... By the way, there are rumors that his son lived in the USA, had tons of assets before, so Dmitri Medvedev is very familiar with the United States. He's been to the United States many times, and all of a sudden... USA is in the cage along with Australia and New Zealand, Europe and stuff like that. Oh, poor you guys. You know what? I really feel bad for you. Yeah, under siege from the sun. Caesars, thank you so much. The usual regular super chatter, serial super chatter. Thank you. I'm sorry, but I'm quoting Boris Yeltsin. Красивенько. Didn't understand what it means. I mean, I know what красивенько is, but красивенько you meant about what Dmitri Medvedev said? It is красивенько indeed. Pentium, 100 megahertz, hi from Lithuania. Howdy, howdy. Mr. Joe, California in the house. Everyone again, Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas. I certainly did. We don't celebrate Catholic Christmas here in Russia or in Uzbekistan. We celebrate on the 7th of January, but I kind of celebrate 2 times because, I spent half of my life in America. Half of my family is in America. So I celebrate. And my Christmas was the best. In case you missed the news, is... On Christmas Eve, there was a Ukrainian family came over to our house and we had a fantastic time. I streamed. I got a little drunk, passed out at the end. I was so happy. I was drinking with them, toasting and cheering. And on Christmas, we had a Russian breakfast, Tashkent Breakfast Club, and the Ukrainian people showed up for the first time, so it became Russian-Ukrainian Tashkent Breakfast Club. So... That is the best Christmas present I could have gotten. It's absolutely awesome. This is my mission, to bridge people. I understand it's very difficult. A lot of Ukrainians probably wouldn't want that because they've been affected, the relatives have been affected. But you know what? Even if it's just a few people in entire Ukraine who would like to do that, just like that family, who came over to see us and be with us and was welcomed with open arms. I'll keep on trying, because someone's gonna take the first step. And I am willing to do that. Noob comment. Thank you so much for being the sponsor for 9 months. That's great. I see the sign, peace symbol. Indeed. Thank you. Roy Cousins, howdy from London. Says, hi from London, howdy from Tashkent. York Asmussen, thank you so very much, my friend, from Denmark. I appreciate the support. Howdy, Bob. Malti from Germany. Guten Abend. Caesar's famous quote by Boris about the resurrection of the Soviet anthem in 2001. I didn't know that. Красивенько. Yeah. Well, the whole thing that is going on right now is красивенько. What can I say? Nation Demon has given the sponsorship of Inside Russia to 5 people. Thank you so much, my friend, from me and from 5 people. Really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sound okay, sound perfect. Something clicks in my ears, in my heads. Click, 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 click. Perhaps it's not clicking. Perhaps it's the crocodile around the corner, walking around saying, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. I hope it's the crocodile. Оля, A+ Russian. Привет, Medved. We help spread message, but you ought to come to our premieres too. Оля, I will. I promise. I will do retrospectively. And your premieres do not show up on my schedule somehow. I gotta do something about it. Go to Telegram, find me, and the best way to contact through Telegram, because I don't go to Instagram that often. Seferian, and I thought Zelensky was supposed to be the comedian. Seems Medvedev is changing occupations. Seems that way. They kind of traded places, you know. From Reno, Nevada. From Scotland. Nice. Sophie was buffering because someone was calling me. Perfect time. 2 a.m. Just perfect time to call me. Let's have a chat. Oh, it's 2 a.m.? Just, let's have a 2 a.m. tea. For the club, thank you so much, Motatom. I appreciate it. Valerie O. Howdy, howdy. Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. Please pray for Wayne, my brother. Ripped it. Oy, that's not good. Yes, I will pray. Mind breaks, Mr. Inside Russia. Would the war not happen if Ukraine kept some of the A-bombs after the fall of the USSR? One of the possibilities probably wouldn't have happened. And the thing is, Russia and the United States guaranteed on paper that they would protect the sovereignty of Ukraine. Somehow Russians just don't recall about that. They don't, no one talks about that. Oh, it's not a big deal. Oh, it happened a long time ago. Are you kidding me? 1992? Jeez, come on, But even if without A-bombs, Ukraine should not have been attacked by Russia. I mean, this whole thing is just such a, I don't know what it is, a tragedy, mistake. I kept on having feeling that somebody made a big mistake, and they just don't want to admit it. Deuce Ray, that's it. The internet runs out of Kazakhstan. It's Kazakhstan. Well, first of all, I don't know really what Kazakhstan is, and I'm not in Kazakhstan. If you meant that, I'm in Uzbekistan. That's kind of a little different countries. He's back. I'll be back. Welcome from Maine. John's here. Hey, John, please say hi to the great state of Maine, my second home, away from home. Fantastic state, fantastic people, fantastic land, you know. I want to go back to Maine one more time at least. White Lightning, thank you so much. Seems like Z-bots are targeting certain parts of the American population, especially younger people in more religious cultural areas. It's yet another thing to protect children from, the news. Thank you for your support, and yes, you are so right. I think that's a threat. Mr. Joe, my wife Lee wants to know what you think his commission rate is for taking position spending for military contracts. How do I know? Well, I think his position in general is profitable. Joe Guita, hello from Toronto, Canada. Howdy from Uzbekistan. Steve Sanelli, one word propaganda. Agreed. Dave's Michigan basement. Good evening from cold and snowy Michigan. Nice and warm in Tashkent. It was 50s today. Natasha and Michael enjoy walking and just spending time outside. Danielske, Merry Christmas. Sending love to Belgium from Uzbekistan. Me Maker, M Maker, Maker 35. Merry Christmas, belated. Merry Christmas to you. We want some balalaika. That's gonna cost you, my friend. Frank Muller, it's really hard to disagree with you, my friend. You might want to borrow Ralphie's soap. Christmas story. Thank you. A plus Russian. Wait, what? How does a phone call disrupt your internet? Are you on dial-up? No, I'm not. But I'm streaming on telephone, and I guess when a telephone call coming in, it just puts stream on hold, and I have the sound that someone's calling me. Usually it's WhatsApp. It's not telephone call, but someone calling me on WhatsApp. And that's as much as I can tell you. That disrupts, and that's it, I'm not a computer expert or telephone expert to figure out what happens. Roy Cousins, a great one. Was that Medvedev calling? That could have been. I don't really see who was calling me because, you see, my telephone is facing me. The cameras are facing, and the screen is on the other side. Might have been Medvedev or perhaps FSB calling on behalf of Medvedev, saying, "We just want to make sure. Did we hear you correctly? Did you just say that?" you know. Jason Carney, thank you, Mike. That's so much. This is huge, huge support. I really appreciate it. You are the usual serial super chatter and supporter. I thank you. Usually don't send messages, but your support is huge messages. They're received here. Thank you. So perhaps that was Medvedev calling. Yes. Biggles, Konstantin, chief Russian negotiator to the West. Yes, at last, sanity. Woohoo! Let's do it. Let's do it. Well, you know what? One of the guys here in Tashkent asked me. He said, "Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to invite Ukrainians over? Because they might swear at you. They might spit at you. They might, throw a rock into you." And he's absolutely right. They might. Because what can I say to a person whose relative was killed by a Russian rocket or Russian soldier? I don't know. I'll take that. If someone wants to spit into my face, throw a rock into me, or whatever, curse me, I'll take that. I'll humbly just take that. But I can't sit still. I'm bubbling inside, there's so much going on. I want to do things. I just don't know what. And I think this is the very important thing. Someone needs to take first step. Well, it actually was taken on Saturday and on Sunday. And it went quite well. This Ukrainian folks, someone in the comments left message like, "Oh, they're pro-Russian." Yeah, right. They showed me a Russian rocket, a remaining of a Russian rocket laying in one of the yards, in the yard of Vladimir's father. No one, fortunately, was killed or affected, but Vladimir's father was thrown. The rocket exploded. He was thrown, and he had a mild concussion, but that's it. And he was showing me the pictures of that rocket. Yeah, he's pro-Russian, right? That rocket was not aimed at the house. The house or the village was not the goal, but something happened and it fell down. So they just basically on the 24th in Kharkov, they went under attack and they fled Ukraine. They fled to the western Ukraine first. Then they fled to Romania, to Prague, and then to Uzbekistan. They're not pro-Russian. Although they speak perfect Russian, they have no hate towards Russian whatsoever. They understand it's not Russian people. They are very calm. They're very nice, loving people. Okay, and Ukrainians, most of Ukrainians I know, because I personally know lots of Ukrainians. I lived there for a year. They're just like that. They're nice people. They're just nice, loving, kind souls. And if any one of them is willing to join us for breakfast, is willing to converse with us, to make steps to get close to us, to at least tell us how they feel, tell us their anger perhaps, I'm ready to listen, and there are people there who are ready to listen. A few people came to the Ukrainians and they said, "You know what, we really apologize. We really feel sorry for what our country is doing to you." And the Ukrainian folks, they were very touched. All in all, I think it was the best morning that I had in the entire year. Anyway, Biggles, that's kind of a extended explanation of negotiation. So I'm not making an attempt to negotiate with the West, but the Ukrainians, regular people. That's what my aim is. I have tons of plans for the next year. I plan on I was thinking of going to Russian embassy, Ukrainian embassy, but Russian embassy, they'll probably either arrest me or they'll just kick me out and beat me and throw on the street. And if I tell them something like, "Hey, let's connect with the Ukrainians," and stuff like that, culturally. But I think that Ukrainians will be much more open to that, much more, well, much better in general to that idea, So this is kind of a negotiation I want to start, because what we're doing here with, I give you every single day, I give you information. I give you the truth. Most things that I tell you, you will not find in the news. Your news, Russian news, no. But still, to me, it's blah blah blah. You see, I'm just talking to you. I'm talking to the camera. Um, I like doing things. I like walking the walk. I like uh, to do something to bring people together, or to help someone, or and say, hey, I've done it. It's done. You know, this is real. This is something that happened in the world. Not just the talk. Talk is also good, but it's not the main thing. Talk is also good, but walking the walk is what's more important. And this is what I want to do. I want to walk the walk. I have been walking the walk, but I want to run in the run, so to speak. Oddbot, my best wishes for you, my friend. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the wishes and I appreciate the words and the support. Thank you. And from Testaya, how do you think ordinary Russians take Finland and Sweden immediately applying for NATO? Or do they even care? Nah, they don't really care that much. You see, lots of people in Russia, they have common sense, the ones who have been not been affected by propaganda. And I mean, what is there not to understand about Finland and Sweden applying for NATO? What is there not understand? To me, it's very logical step. It's very normal step. Moreover, if I was a Finn or a Swede, I would run to the government and start screaming at them, why aren't we at the NATO yet? Do you see what's happening to Ukraine? Do you see what the hell is going on around us? Why aren't we there yet? And I think this is what you did. And I think that's perfectly normal, what expected. And Russians never really cared about NATO that much, I'll tell you a secret, like regular Russian people. And they still don't care about Finland and Sweden. Finland is considered our closest ally in the West, the country that's been closest to us because we're such close neighbors with relationships, economy, and stuff like that. And Swedes have always been considered like nice people. I've met a few Swedes. I worked with for a Swedish company called Sweco Group. We had a joint venture with Sweco, and I've met quite a few Swedes and just nicest people I've seen. Seriously, very like Nordic people, very warm, very like smiling all the time, very true to their word. If they say something, they do it. Just great people to be around with, or just to go drinking with, or to do business with, and stuff like that. So, Russians not really mad at the Finnish and the Swedish for joining NATO. They understand, and for the most part, they don't care. Alaska in the house. 907 Pike, Alaska. I see you like fishing, yeah? Same here. Being on Alaska time is like great. You're making breakfast. Maybe I will be 2 in 5 hours. Okay. Well, me too. In 5 hours, I'll be, in 6 hours, I'll be making breakfast. Zeta Omicron. Hello, Konstantinos. Hello, my friend. I hope you don't get inside of me. Zeta Omicron. Two presidents changed profession. Who is the real comedian? Elsha, you nailed it. They traded places. K-Dog. Do you think Russia will split into many countries, and how do you feel about it? If it does, which potential country will you stay? I will not answer the second question because, first of all, if it does, it will be painful for me because I grew up in one big Russia, and that's my heritage culture. I don't want it to be split into many countries. I want it to be one country and shine. I think it's possible. Will it get split into many countries? I don't know. But I think the way the Russian government is doing what they're doing right now, they are definitely not helping. Okay, it's not the West, it's not Ukraine, it's not. Now they're trying to push this agenda. Oh, you see, the West wants Russia to be split into the parts. Who can split Russia into the parts except for the Russians? Tell like tell me about it. A lot of people forget one basic principle of life. No one can hurt you more than you can hurt yourself. No one can make you more than you can make yourself. No one can uh, give you success more than you can give success to yourself. If Russia splits, it's gonna be Russia's actions, the results of Russia's actions. Lori Ham, thank you so much for your support, Lori. I appreciate it. And York Asmussen, do you have any idea about how Russians living in the Baltic countries feel? Some of the Baltics have up to 30% of ethnic Russians. Transnistria already have Russian troops. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how Russians feel who live in the Baltics. I've met quite a few Lithuanians, Estonians, Latvians. I have a couple friends from Lithuania. Linas, from the old time. We worked with a company in I think Lithuania. Used to be called Kozlarudas. Now I don't know how they call. I know that there are so many ethnic Russians there. Here it's been pushed that Russians are Russian rights are pressured there. Russians are not treated well, and I've always thought it was BS because when you're not welcomed in the country because you speak different language or whatever, you just get up and leave. If Russians were somehow mistreated in the Baltic countries for sheer fact of speaking Russian and so forth, they would have gotten up and left for Russia. Okay, but somehow they have stayed. It means that they're just being absolutely fine with their lives there. Okay, how they feeling now? I would like to get that from them because I have no clue. Thank you so much for the question and thank you for your support. Caesar's another question. It doesn't matter if it splits or not. What matters is if it learns how to coexist. Size doesn't matter. And I think you're absolutely right. I think you're spot on. This is I wanted to stay this like same as it was before, but I want it different. I want angels come down and get rid of all demons who have hijacked Russia, and I want angels run it. And I want it to be a Christian country. Well, not necessarily Christian, but righteous. Because Russian population is split between the Christians, the Muslim, the Jews, the Buddhists, and it's okay. All are welcome as long as the country and people are righteous. That's what matters. Vice, thank you so much for your support. Much love from California. Thank you. I'm sending you love from Uzbekistan, Tashkent. Hey, wish I was there right now. Um, okay, time. Couple more questions, and that's it. Jeffrey, yes, it's what the fudge stream today. More information you give us private to. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Definitely what the fudge stream. John Wakamatsu from Los Angeles, buy some tea. Thank you, John. Courtesy to you, of you. I will buy some more Twinings, English breakfast. Thank you. Cheers. Scott Nesbitt, howdy, howdy. Steven Lindholm, so for Medvedev, is it also summer in Russia? Not sure what you mean. He looks very tanned. Perhaps he went to vacate someplace warm, I don't know, but he looks very fresh and very tanned when he appears in public. Testaya, I kind of expected the same from ordinary Russian and Finn and Swede relations things. I also agree Russia being not splittable. Maybe something like Dagestan ends up splitting in extreme case. I also think it's about like those Caucasus enclave small territories. They've been independent all their lives, all like thousands of times. They've been just they're a special kind of people, but we'll see. I'd like them to stay a part of Russia, and I definitely would hate to see Russia being split up. So, but I think it's not about the size. It's about what's inside of people's hearts, souls, and minds. Okay. Again, ordinary Swedes and Finns, great guys. The Finnish came to St. Petersburg in hordes to drink. Met quite a few through work. I have a couple friends from Helsinki, and great guys, you know. Absolute vodka is definitely number one. Well, number two after French Grey Goose, really. Uh, and Finlandia, that's actually two vodkas are very, very popular in Russia. First is Absolute, and the second is Finlandia. Vice, buy extra tea from myself and family from Atheron, California. Thank you so much. I will do so. I will do. I promised the Ukrainian family that came over to our house on Saturday evening. They have a girl who is a little older than my son Michael. I think she's 8. They have a teenage boy, well, teenager. He's into computers, computer games, and he did not come over. He stayed at home, but he was watching the stream, and he saw that like 400 people were watching live. And he called us up and he said, 400 people. Can you imagine 400 people? I said, well, usually it's a little more than that, but I started streaming at unusual time and with no advance notice. So, and he was so excited. But he also is a tea lover. Okay, uh, he likes tea. He takes pride. Like I brew my tea and I take pride in it. It's the whole process for me. I pick tea. I pick teapot. It's got to be a certain like very nice looking. It has to be like pleasing to touch and stuff like that. And he's like that too. So I promised him a present, like a really good tea, Twinings or Taylor's or something like that. And actually, Vice, thank you so much. I'm gonna use that money to buy him this present. Okay, so this guy, so he'll have a really good tea too. Lisa Marshall, my husband has COVID. Praying it doesn't get too bad from him. Well, I definitely will pray for him too, Lisa. What's his name? If you can send me or mods. Mods, just a couple more minutes if you could. I know it's time. Thomas Bistorp, what do you think will happen in the next few months with the Russian economy? I've been speaking about that, I don't know, lately a lot. It's going down. It's gonna landslide. Um, not a tsunami. It's something worse than tsunami. Perhaps tomorrow I will make the stream. You see, great question. Russian officials, they had been hiding the true forecast for the Russian economy, not to upset people, but they started coming out. Like big economists in Russia, they come out and they start speaking the truth, saying, "Hey, you know what? Things are not bad. Things are gonna get much worse." Head of central bank said that the big economists, and because it's very simple, we start seeing the landslide. It's not like, oh, it's around the corner. No, it has been happening already, and they're just saying, "Hey, you know what? This is what's happening. No more, no less." And I most likely will do a stream tomorrow, day after tomorrow, just on that. Russian economists, officials coming out about truth of Russian economy. And I'll be quoting them, just like I quoted Dmitri Medvedev. And I'll be just describing a little bit. So please, Thomas, come back and you will learn more, a great deal more about Russian economy. Oregon Staker, I've been watching your channel. Great insight on Russia. Hopefully we have peace soon. Love to everyone. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for the words and thanks for love. Love is priceless. Sending you love from Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Polar bear, maybe that's Medvedev. That is the big boss. No, I don't think so. Frank, Medvedev is a new case for your brain doctor. Golden Griffon, what can I say? Blackad, thank you for being you, sir. Love you, brother. Sending love back. Thank you so much. Lori Lane, well, the West is in a massive cage. We can go anywhere except for Russia or North Korea. Couldn't have said better myself. That's a good one. Greetings from Anglo-Saxony. Sorry, I keep on laughing when I remember about the cage. Me and Natasha, I showed Natasha, and we were just laughing out loud, both of us. It's incredible. Zitara Mikron, are you Christian, Greek Orthodox? Right. Well, I am, but it's fuzzy a little bit because my dad was a Baptist preacher. When they went to Czech Republic, they lived in Prague for 10 years. My father had a miracle happen to him, and he became from non-believer to a preacher. He turned from non-believer to a preacher, and he attended Baptist church, and my mom Baptist as well as him. I went to their church too, but I go and pray into Eastern Orthodox church. Not necessarily that I like what Eastern Orthodox Church in Russia is doing right now, but I pray to God. I don't pray to church. I don't pray to the priests. God is in my heart, and this is where I turn to every single day, every minute, every time I speak to Him. Okay, that's plain and simple. So I was baptized in Greek Orthodox Church, but I am more God's son than church's son, Quickening Cat, howdy from New Zealand. Thank you for important message. Thank you so much. Thank you so much from New Zealand. Merry Christmas to your family, no matter when you celebrated. We're lucky, John. We celebrated twice. First yesterday and in 2 weeks. So, Valerie, yes, we will celebrate our Christmas on January 7th. We most likely will go to church. because church is huge, cathedral is right around the corner from me. I stop on the way I go to store, I stop at the cathedral. Mr. Kaliskan, Merry Christmas. Armenian Orthodox Christmas is January 6th. I know, so we also celebrate January 6th. WJ, thank you so much. Don't see the message, but thanks for the support. Rostislav Galia. Hi, Konstantin. I've just listened to Proteirei Andrei Tkachev. Do you have any opinion of him? I don't even know who that is. I don't listen to Proteireis. I don't listen to Russian Orthodox Church priests anymore. Polar Bear, yes to the red cola Santa. We went to Santa house day before yesterday. I will make a video on that, very short one. But Michael absolutely loved Coca-Cola Santa. Gael, that's funny. Brian Crook, 76 England. Help, I thought I was on the outside of the cage. No, my friend. No, according to Dmitri Medvedev, you're right in the middle of the cage. Oh, you just locked up. The rest of the world is besieged you, you know. Bob S. Inside Russia. Can you vacation in Cuba? I can. I have once or twice. I don't remember. Cuba is a pretty cool place. It's like time traveling. Going to the USSR. You go to a store, there's nothing in the store. And you go like, oh, I've seen it before, like 30 years ago. In the USSR, literally, there's nothing in the store. It's crazy. Richard Burris, no, Medvedev has not kept low profile. It's just you have not heard of Medvedev because he aims Russian auditory. He doesn't speak to the foreigners. I give you his words, okay? No one else. He speaks to the Russians. He's been very, very vocal lately. Stuff to consider. From Canada, America should not mess up with Russia. You don't want to poke that bear. Let us go back to negotiate tables. Well, let's do it. Negotiating is always good. I wish that the Russian side would start negotiating. I pray for the bloodshed to end every single day. So, my friends, I think I gotta wrap it up. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for... I feel like a new year has just started after Christmas, you know. Thank you very much. It's another super chat from X-Flying Tiger, Lake Shasta. Thank you for proving that every country has truly good people in it. Right now, Uzbekistan has one of the best. Thank you so much. John and Nikki, Lake Shasta. Yes, I remember. Well, John and Nikki, thank you. Thank you. I don't know what to say. I think I'm far from the best. But I'm just doing what I can, you know. One step at a time. My Telegram just scrolled that Russia is pulling tanks and troops off the Chinese border to send to Ukraine. How can they risk invasion like that? Some parts of Chinese army are bigger than USA army. Good question. It's not a question to me. I think it's absolutely crazy. It shows you how thinned out Russian army is. Always look at small things. And small things, many small things make up big pictures. So that's one of the small things, but that's a hugely important thing, okay? Also, know that Chinese have put over 1 million troops to Russian-Chinese border. And just like Russia a year ago, they called it exercises. Oh, we need to do the exercises. And the troops around the city of Harbin, right on the border with Russia. And Russia is pulling troops and tanks away from Russia, you know, from that border towards Ukraine. So it leaves that part of Russia unprotected. I don't know what they're thinking. I really don't. Okay, my friends, thank you so very much. Um, Another message tomorrow. This is message today. I have lots of information to share with you. I'm inviting everyone to pray along. If you're a believer, if you're not a believer, then please join us anyway. Send good wishes and vibes to people. Let's do it. Dear God, thank you very much for giving us this wonderful day. Thank you for putting food on our tables, roofs over our heads, surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy. Don't let any bad things happen to them, any troubles. Give us wisdom to raise them the way that when they grow up and become adults, they will make this world a better place. We'll never fight wars with each other. Please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Reach out and touch the hearts, souls, and heads of people who are responsible for making decisions. Reach out Vladimir Putin, Dmitri Medvedev, and other Russian officials. So they fill their hearts with love, mercy, forgiveness, remorse, empathy, so they wake up and see what tragedies has been happening, and they will make this decision to stop the bloodshed. So no one is hurt anymore. Please help the Ukrainians who have been displaced, affected by this terrible tragedy. Answer their prayers and make their wishes come true. Please send every Ukrainian an angel to keep the person out of harm's way, so not one single drop of blood is shed anymore. Please help my country, Russia. Send the army of your strongest angels with sharpest swords to get rid of the demons that have hijacked my country. Have this army to be led by Saint Michael. Have the angels run my country and make it righteous, make it good and peaceful. Please give food to the ones who are hungry, give shelter to the ones who are homeless, help with faith the ones who are trembling, give recovery to the ones who are sick and are in pain, and soothe the souls of people who are hurting right now. Send safe travels to the ones traveling, and please send help and good people to people who are trying to seek in refuge, running away from their homes, saving their lives. Please give us all peace. I am asking to reach out to all politicians in the world, including Russian politicians, they're the first ones, and touch them, fill them with common sense, fill their heads with common sense, fill their hearts with love, so they will start making decisions that are much better for regular people, that de-escalate bad situations in the world and make this world a more peaceful place. I would like to ask for all pregnant women who are trying to make decision whether to keep babies or not, reach out and talk to them. so they make the right choice. I am thanking for this community, of thousands of wonderful people who come together for the messages and pray with me. Please help everyone who is praying right now or just watching us pray, answer the prayers and make the wishes come true. I would like to ask for a few people who really, really need your help. They are Wayne. Please help with health, give recovery, and help recover from cancer. Please help Lisa Marshall's husband, who is currently down with COVID. Please help Shirley and Debbie. Shirley, send full recovery, please, and Debbie, give strength and just hug her and fill her life with, fill her heart with love. Jen Allen, please help with depression, help with feeling better. May the soul of Trent Davis rest in peace. Please help Finola, Lisa Kumrian's son and husband, Lars Henrik's mother, the highwayman, who is struggling with depression and bad feelings, needs your help real bad. Please help Elena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina, Igor, Karen from Maine with her pain, Janine, Michael Milkovitz, Marlene, Paul Binns, Rudy Kaisley, Richard, Mallory M., Dirk Misler, James Rhodes, Terry, Brittany S., Lars Henrik, Hannah and her children, Richard Burris, Ian, Angelica at Life and UK, Scan Family's grandson, Grace, Barb Randolph, Nelly, Arkady, Yuri, and everyone who lives in Mykolaiv, Ukraine. Harry's family, Brian McManus, Verlinda's niece, Doug, Rafaela From, Anna, Priscilla Michelin, King Nero, Gaby Hyman, Donald, Deborah, Jade, Allison Dave Moyers, Janice Burgess, Maureen M. and her sister, Casey, Mr. Hanson, Heidi, Bob, Tony, Kylene, Rob, Umel, Jennifer, Matt, Ashley and family, Mr. Dean Spooner and his church called Our Savior Lutheran Church, Barry Reading's sister, Lisa Kumrian, please give her strength to go through hard times, Jacob, Adam Oliver, Treasure, Kyle's wife, Grace Philosophy, Maggie, Carmen's sister, Vladislav and his father Sergey needs recovery and help, Susie Myler, Gina and her husband Wayfarer, EMS paramedic Liz, Lori's Miles' husband, Sherry, Layla, Philip's mom, and I'd like to ask for special children. They are Maverick, Sebastian, Cadence, Coulter, Theo, and Muddy. Please send them recovery, send their families strength, and send the kids healthy home so they live very healthy and good lives. Also, please help all the children of Ukraine who have been affected by this tragedy, who need your help. Please help them, surround them with love and your care, and also please children who have been affected from Russia. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so very much. Amen. My friends, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me a chance to listen to another message. You are absolutely awesome. You rock. And you are just the best. Thank you. There will be tomorrow. another message. Please come back at the usual time. Before I go, Carthago delenda est. I'm out.